So, what does Toys R Us closing all of its stores in North America mean to e-commerce sellers? My name's Kevin, and I'm from MaximizeEcommerce.com. I help people start and grow e-commerce businesses. In this video, I'm going to talk about what impact that has on e-commerce sellers, what that means for the future of business, things of that nature, and what opportunities are in store for you as an e-commerce store owner or an aspiring e-commerce store owner. So first off, just to get into it, as you've probably heard, Toys R Us filed bankruptcy last fall, and they're actually closing all of their US stores. In fact, I was just driving locally here about a week ago, and there was a gentleman holding the sign, and it said, bankruptcy sale, Toys R Us, and it was like, a block away. So we drove by Toys R Us, and there was this big sign on the side of the building saying store closing, and then on the front there were all these, everything must go type of big call out signs on all the windows. And in some ways it kind of had me thinking a little sad, just to go back for a moment, because as a consumer, I love going to Toys R Us with my kids and just seeing the magic of all the different toys and their excitement about, kind of dreaming about, I want that, I want that, I want that. Just kind of being overwhelmed by it all. Not that they can have everything there, but there is something fun about going to a place like that, where all the things you might hope for and everything else is all right there in front of you. And I used to love going to Toys R Us as a kid, even if I didn't leave with anything. It was just kind of fun to, dream. And I think, having dreams and aspirations is healthy, as long as you're doing it in a healthy manner. And that was one of the nice things about Toys R Us is, as a kid, you didn't want to grow up, because even if you did, you couldn't be a Toys R Us kid, as the old jingle was. But it's just crazy because now it's gone. So why is that? You got Amazon's taking a bigger share of the market, and e-commerce is taking over. One could say Toys R Us didn't do a good job with kind of rolling with the times. I saw a video by Gary Vaynerchuk, and I didn't realize this, but apparently Toys R Us, in the early to mid 2000s, went to Amazon to do their fulfillment for them. They were just thinking, we're big box stores, and we're going to offload our e-commerce side to someone else. And not to say that was the death of them. I mean, heck, I do, even though I've got boxes behind me, most of my fulfillment is actually done by Amazon. So I think that part's fine. But I think if we start diving into where is consumer expectations and what people want, where's it all going? And I think this is going to lead us to some clues, some canary in the coal mine clues. So it's not just Toys R Us. In fact, I want to show you something here, if I can switch to showing you my screen. Okay, should come up. Okay, here it is. So here's, according to CNBC, this article, which I'll link down to below. Toys R Us is closing 800 plus stores in the US. Walgreens, I was a little shocked by, is closing a bunch of stores. I'm not even sure who a Ascena Retail Group is. Children's Place. Best Buy, that's a lot of stores. Gap, Mattress Firm, Jeweler, Foot Locker, Sears, Michael's Aaron Brothers, not sure that was Claire's Boutique. I remember people always going as a kid to Claire's Boutique to get, earrings and stuff, whether they get it for themselves or their girlfriend or whatever the case is, or their mom. Sam's Club's closing stores, Abercrombie and Fitch, J. Crew, Vera Bradley, Bonton, I'm not even sure who that is. Macy's closed a bunch of stores last year, and they're still closing a few more. J.C. Penney, they closed some last year, they're closing more. Nordstrom, it's only one still. I think if you really start looking at, where is our consumer expectation gone as time has gone on? So let's just take a step back. So, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, date myself here. And in the 80s and 90s, we were kind of on this tail end in the second half of the 20th century. We wanted everything instant. Having things available was what was really important to people, and they wanted it right away. So, if you wanted to get milk in the middle of the night. Most grocery stores were closing like 9, 10 o'clock at night, but now all of a sudden 7-Eleven filled the need, and you can just go get stuff. We were wanting stuff instantaneously. You didn't want to wait for the coffee maker, so they had instant coffee. You didn't want to brew orange juice, so you just scoop up some Tang, which is actually gross, and it's not orange juice at all. Nothing against the fine folks at Tang. I'm just not a huge fan of it. So, we wanted everything instantaneous, instant oatmeal, instant this, instant. But what we were having to do it is we're having to go somewhere. Go to 7-Eleven, go to the grocery store, go to this place, go to that place. You start seeing more 24-hour McDonald's, 24-hour restaurants, so that we always had access to go do it. But I think as time has gone on, we're starting to see people's expectation isn't necessarily that they get whatever they want instantaneously. And I think Amazon is proving that. And just to show you another graphic here, Amazon sales are skyrocketing. And Amazon's not giving you what you want instantaneously as a consumer. Amazon's revenue by quarter, and I'll link to this as well. You can see this graph, in the billions, just their US sales, I believe this is, it's basically like, this trough here is the slow season. So the slow season of, this is 2017. Their trough of the slow season in 2017 is right on par with Q4, which is this bump, so around the Christmas holidays, for 2015. So basically in a year and a half, they go from, this is like peak record performance, to that's just now average during the slow period. So you have to wait a day or two to get your stuff on Amazon, depending on where you live and how, if you have Prime and all that fun stuff. But people are willing to wait. I think what it's coming down to is that it's not so much you have to have everything instantaneously. You have to get it out of your head that it's no longer like this loop that, you are thinking about it. You can just go on your phone and press a button and stuff just happens. And it's not just Amazon. It's, people want their food shipped to them. So it used to be, the only option was go to the grocery store. And so, you had, Walgreens, which was on the list of places that are starting to close down, because Walgreens oftentimes is open 24 hours or at least later than the grocery store, or 7-Eleven, or those type of convenience stores. But people are finding that not as convenient, because you have to literally get in your car and go there. There was a time where everything was all about the mall, because the mall had everything you wanted. So all the stores you could think of were at the mall. So you wanted a swimsuit or sporting goods or tennis shoes or whatever you wanted, you could just go to the mall. But that required this big production of get in your car, drive 20 minutes there, fight for a parking spot, walk 5 minutes inside, and then it's another 5-minute walk from, you can't remember, is it by Macy's or is it by Sears or Fully's or wherever you're going. How do you get to the store you want to go to? And you walk around, maybe you find some other stuff, but it was half your day. If you ever saw the movie Old School, with Will Ferrell, there was that scene where he is a older guy, probably in his 30s or 40s. He was engaged, and he was talking to these college age guys, and what was at this party, and they're like, hey, you want to do this beer bong? And he's like, no, I can't, I got a busy day tomorrow. We're gonna go to Bed Bath and Beyond, maybe Home Depot. I don't know if we'll have enough time. We're talking about like going to 2 stores and like wasn't sure if you have time to go to 2. That's what it really is like when you go out shopping. It's very time consuming. Whereas now you just hit a little button and stuff appears. Maybe it's not instantaneously, but you don't have to think about it. That loop is closed. And so, I was out at a restaurant the other day, and here in the West Palm Beach area, there's a service called Delivery Dudes. There's Uber Eats. There's Chow Cab. You probably have something like that that'll go to the restaurant for you and pick stuff up. And we were at this burger restaurant, and the food was decent. I mean, it wasn't anything out of this world, but like I remember looking over, and there was this guy. I guess this Delivery Dudes company has like red that they wear, like red uniform. They've got this red insulated like zippered bag that they put the food into to keep it warm or cold or whatever the case is. And, they came in, and then there was this one guy, waiting to pick up the order. And then another guy comes in right after. And this is one restaurant, which I said the food was but I think that's becoming more and more what people want. Like the idea of getting in the car and going to a restaurant. Now people just want it brought to them. And it's not just pizza and Chinese. It's pretty much everything you want. And also, if you think of all those meal kits, you can go online, you go to Purple Carrot or Blue Apron, whatever it is, just press a couple buttons and you don't have to think about going to the grocery store, because just whatever you need for certain meals is now brought to you. And the stuff you do need from the grocery store, you go on Shipt, or I was just in the Orlando area yesterday, and there's this big billboard from Publix, which is the major grocery store chain in the area, talking about delivery. And which is funny, because also on the topic of store closings, Winn-Dixie, who I think at one point might have been the largest supermarket in America. Don't quote me on that. I can't validate that. But I remember their ads in the 90s were America's supermarket. They're going out of business. They weren't adopting and changing. So, I think the lessons here are always adopt new things, try new things. I'm a firm believer in keep trying new things, because what works today is not going to work tomorrow. Understand where people's consumer tastes are going. That, people's tastes are going into more, they just want things done for them. When you talk to somebody and you say, hey, how are you? It used to be everyone, just the standard answer would be, I'm okay, or I'm doing well, I'm good. Now, what do people say? They say those things, but they also say, oh, I'm so what? I'm pretty sure you were thinking busy. Everyone's talking about how busy they are. You go anywhere, no one's just kind of like looking around. The idea of just going to the grocery store and looking around, no one does it anymore. So if you are at the grocery store, what is everyone doing when they're waiting in line? They're going like this. They're looking down at their phone. They're checking stuff. We have email became this inbox. I'm kind of going on a little bit of a tangent here, but just bear with me. We had like just one inbox, the mailbox, and then it became, email became an inbox. And then now it's like we have all these notifications, all these things on our phone. So we have all these open loops going on. So if you're Amazon, if you're Chow Cab, if you're an e-commerce seller, whoever you are, if you're able to give people margin of time back, and it's not necessarily instantaneous coffee, but like quality, that they don't have to, whatever their itches that they need, they just go on their phone, click a couple buttons, and it's done. You're now serving a need and fulfilling a purpose. And I think that is the lesson in Toys R Us, is that even though it's great to have all this stuff available to you, that you can touch it, you can feel it, but there's just something about just going on your phone, clicking a button, and just the package fairy shows up 2 days later with your thing, and you didn't even have to think about it because you trusted that it would happen. So if you trust in the fulfillment process, you're okay just pressing buttons, and then now you can check that off your list and go back to all the other things you have going on in your busy life, you as the consumer. So just keep that in your own mind as you're thinking about, like, okay, where's this all going with e-commerce? So, there was a worry about, like, when the internet came on board, I remember everyone was like, well, people are going to put in their credit card, whatever. I think people have moved past that, because now they're enjoying a different level of convenience that they didn't have before. That it's because we're all so busy. Our lives are so filled with self-created things, which is going on a whole other tangent. But we have the ability to just take things off our plate. So that's, I think, the beauty of selling on something like Amazon, or even having your own store, is that if people trust that they press a button and stuff shows up a couple days later, they're okay with that. And so that creates a new opportunity. And that also, it used to be everything was kind of like there was a box that everybody was looking into. So it was like Toys R Us was the box you went to for toys. It was Best Buy for electronics. It was, these specialized boxes. And it was like everyone kind of got the same experience. McDonald's was, fast food, and Burger King, which is similar. And then, if you think about it, we all had these things and we're all sharing these same experiences. And, like, for example, growing up in the 80s and 90s, if I was to say to someone my age, Kelly Kapowski and Zach Morris, they know instantaneously I'm talking about Saved by the Bell. Now my kids, they watch these shows on YouTube that they love, but the kid down the street has no idea what they're talking about when they bring it up. Everybody's starting to get very specialized in the things that they're into. So if you can start figuring out the niches that people want, you don't have to have everything to serve all audiences like Toys R Us did. You can just have your little niche of the market that you're serving, and you bring it to them quickly. Doesn't have to be instantaneously, but you bring it to them that they can trust that you're going to take care of them. That's the direction things are going, in my personal opinion. So if you agree with me, if you think I'm completely crazy, whatever the case is, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. So hopefully you found this video helpful. Whether you agree with me or disagree with me, again, I want to hear your thoughts. I will read your thoughts. I'll do my best to reply to as many as possible. But overall, I'm just seeing kind of where things are going. You may have a different take. And again, I want to hear your thoughts. So if you found this helpful, please click the little thumbs up icon. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and click the little notification bell so that we can make sure to let you know when more videos like this come available. So thank you so much for being a maximizer, and have a wonderful day.